This has been long awaited for many, many people. And now we find ourselves on the cusp of success, thanks to the efforts, again, of many, many people. The idea of a place together was thought about in the early days of Upper Arlington Public Schools. For those of you familiar with Barrington Elementary School, you will remember that the kindergarten room, built in the late 1920s, included a fireplace. This was intended as a gathering place where families could come on Sunday evening for a community potluck supper. I'm not sure that a defined program was included or whether it was intended simply as a shared evening for food and conversation. At any rate, it was a beginning.
It's been a lot of work. I looked at my emails and getting ready for this and looked through and did some searches. And I did a search on Kroger because it was, Kroger owned the site. And at 9:59 on my first day here, I sent a note to Suzanne Beach saying, set a meeting with Kroger.
Fast forward about 50 years to the year 1981, and I must thank COVID for reminding me of that year. Although there are not many good things to remember about those down days of being closeted at home, for me, it allowed time to clean out drawers and files. Among the items I found at my house was this brochure. Believe it or not, it was 1981. 42 years ago this date. Compared to the slick materials that are now produced, it looks rather pathetic and amateurish. Well, it must not have appealed to the community either, because as I recall, the levy issue failed miserably at the ballot box. For those of you who remember that effort, it was the former 16-acre Fishinger School property which the Board of Education offered to the city of Upper Arlington for $1, subject to the passage of a $250,000 levy to make minor alterations to the building. Upon the failure of the levy, the property was ultimately sold at auction to what would become Wellington School and lost forever to the public domain.
For me, a community center is the kind of place that's greater than the sum of its parts. It's more than a gym, it's more than a pool, it's more than art classrooms and a ballroom. It is a gathering space for our community, it's a gathering space for families, and it's gonna make Upper Arlington the premier community in Central Ohio.
What it means to me is teamwork, really. While I get to serve at a time like this, which is incredible, it's actually been long fought efforts before me. So it's an exciting day, but it's an exciting day for everyone that worked so hard for this project and for the opportunities that are to come.
After the failure of the Fishinger effort, another attempt in the early 1980s came forward when 10 men pledged $10,000 each to purchase land along the Scioto River as a site for a community center. This appeared to be a perfect spot. However, the community did not take kindly to the idea of, quote, wealthy people funding the purchase of land for a public community center. As I recall, it was also deemed a floodplain, which did not add to its credibility. This too died a natural death.
To me, the community center means a monumental moment where our community finally has a place to gather and be together for generations to come, while bringing our generations together.
A community center means, I guess, community, right? At the heart of it, it's finally having a center gathering place for everybody to come. I mean, we saw with the Tremont Turf and kind of how that had turned into almost like a mini community center for our youth, and just seeing that and realizing it's only open a few times a year, but actually having community center where there can be all different types of activities, all different age groups coming together in one spot, I think really kind of pulls the community together in a meaningful way that we have not had in the history of Upper Arlington.
Then in 1988, City Council itself initiated an effort with the OSU College of Architecture to create something in Northam Park. There was plenty of community conversation and lots of ideas, but this too faded away when the feasibility studies began. There appeared to be no viable funding stream available.
I think it will be transformational for our community. We won't have to go outside of Upper Arlington for fitness and classes, swim lessons. I think it's going to have a huge impact here, and I'm so excited to be a part of it.
Again, in the early 1990s, City Council simulated a plan to create Quarry Park on the other side of the Scioto River. 3 individuals gave $75,000 each to fund a study for the purchase of the land and construction of the center. Before the plan was complete, the land was sold to another buyer.
There's this genuine taking care of each other that exists here, but there's never been a place we're all going to meet to be together. And so it's this culture and attitude that's now going to have a physical place.
This brings us to the years of 2000-2001. Kingsdale was being redeveloped. Lazarus Macy's had closed and Giant Eagle had not been built. City Council developed a plan for a public-private partnership to bring forth a community center in the Kingsdale Shopping Center, which was dependent on a favorable ballot vote in May 2001. The issue failed at the ballot box because it included an increase in taxes.
We're going to build a community center that I think the community is going to be very proud of. And the fascinating thing is going to be to see if it makes the individual transformation in each of us who use it.
Here we are, over 100 years after the founding of Upper Arlington, finally ready to bring forth a community center. We can reflect on these failures, of which there were several, but success happened because of those failures. As we are reminded with the words of Winston Churchill, we will never, never, never give up. Leadership in Upper Arlington did not give up. Instead, they put the pieces in place for success, much of which had to do with financing. And finally, the community graciously understood the need for a community center when they voted overwhelmingly to support the issue. The Aqua Brick Lazarus Macy's building has been raised. The plans are drawn. The Capital Campaign Committee has raised $8 million from large and small gifts throughout the community to fund the 10% private portion needed to secure the funding. And now, members of City Council, it's up to you to place the capstone on this project. The community joins me in thanking you for making this the right time and the right place. It is definitely the next right thing.
With this project, we will bring younger and older generations together. We will have a central meeting place for people from different parts of the city. We'll have a venue for new events and programs, and I truly believe this community center will be the heart of our community.
Council President King, I hereby move for passage of ordinance number 16-2023.
Is there a second? Second. There's a second. I don't have any speaker slips. We've had council discussion. Mr. Kulowitz has to abstain. Yes. Ordinance. We'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of approving ordinance 16-2023 signify by saying aye.
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 Ordinance 16-2023 is approved unanimously 6-0. Congratulations, we made a little history tonight. Yeah.